Yeah, I thought it was a great debate, really interesting debate. I thought Liz really won it. I thought she came across in a very statesmanlike way on the night, to be honest. But let's not forget, it's not just about who wins the debate on the night. It's who's got the best policies for the country. And she made a great case for her tax changes. She came across as the candidate of change, and that's what the country needs.
He's obviously trying to get her on the tax cuts being irresponsible. Do you think he had any success doing that tonight? And can you also tell me, Lord Frost, why you're so convinced that her tax cut plan is the right one?
Well, taxes and spending are at the highest level since Clem Attlee's government. They really are too high, and it's unconservative to keep pushing them up that way. So, what Liz is suggesting to a large extent is just reversing out the changes that have just come in or are planned. These are not dramatic, sudden resort to borrowing. This is about a prudent way of putting us onto a different path, and a path that means that there's more scope given for enterprise, and we begin a journey which takes us down to a lower tax burden, which is what the country needs. So I thought that came across very well. I didn't think Rishi really landed the point about inflation, and to be honest, I think he ought to be a bit embarrassed by some of the arguments he's running. Nobody seriously thinks that tax cuts on the scale of that Liz is proposing are going to produce hyperinflation. They're just not. What they are going to do is put us onto a different track. More enterprise, more growth. That's how we solve these problems. It's by growing ourselves out of them.
International relations has obviously been the topic of the day, Lord Frost, and it became particularly important at a couple of moments in the debate. Do you agree with Liz Truss's claims that there have been certain points over the past couple of years where Sunak has advocated for closer ties to China and for less action against Russia?
Well, I mean, obviously I haven't been in every discussion, and certainly haven't been in any for the last 6 months. I do think that Rishi, has been a little bit keener when I've seen it to resume normal economic relationships with China, and by way of trade meetings and so on. And I don't think that's the right way forward. Nobody's talking about cutting ourselves off from China, but obviously China is a threat. Obviously China behaves badly. Obviously we must minimise our exposure to China as much as we can. And I think the attempt tonight to paint Liz as somehow soft on China, is simply not credible. I mean, most people up to this point, critics of Liz, have criticised her for being too hawkish, and suddenly to suggest that she's being too dovish and accommodating of China, I think is not really going to work. I think she's done the right thing to push us into a firmer, more robust position on China, which is absolutely where we need to be. And those who talk about, we need to cooperate with China, we need to do things together with China, well, what? The only thing that ever gets mentioned is climate change, and their cooperating with China seems to be us reducing carbon and them not. So, I'm really not convinced that anything other than a robust policy against a country that's a threat to us is the right one, and I think Liz is the right person for that.